Hello, hello, hello.
Two Davids Walk Into a Bar is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
There's a charity event at the Car Museum tonight. It seems I'm expected.
A little last minute, isn't it?
Charity doesn't punch a clock, my friend.
I guess you'll be needing your tuxedo.
No, I think something a bit more in keeping with the times, something not as formal, something Clooney-ish.
I have just the thing. And it's loaded and ready to go. You know, I'll never get used to that. A nostalgic nod to that series you used to do?
Oh, no. It was there when I bought the house. I did add the sign, however.
Nice touch.
That'll be all. Thank you, Alfred.
Jerry.
Jerry.
All right, hello. This is Two Davids Walk Into a Bar. I'm David Anderson.
I'm David Lawler. How are you, David?
I am well. We're going to talk about the Batcave, or Back to the Batcave. Back to the Batcave.
No, it's Return to the
Return
Batcave.
to the Batcave.
The Adventures of Adam and Burt.
The Misadventures. We're messing it up left.
The Misadventures of Adam and Burt.
Adam and Burt, yes.
And this movie, I think, was made in 2003.
2003. So that would have made it about 25 years removed from. No, wait.
Let me see.
20, 75, 30.
Break out that calculator.
Oh, jeez. It ended in 68, so that's 68.
Yeah, 68.
68, 78, 80, 30. So it's like 35 years removed.
35 years.
And I wonder why was this associated with an Adam West book that he wrote, and then they made a movie and it sort of promoted the whole thing? Because it seemed to come out of nowhere of why was Batman popular in 2003? Batman Begins had not come out until a couple years later.
Was this around the time? No, this wouldn't. This would have been a couple of years after
Batman
the Clooney,
Forever.
right?
Batman
and Robin.
Batman and Robin. That would be 97.
Jeez.
Although Clooney is mentioned in this.
Yeah. I think what this mainly had to do with was Adam West's newfound celebrity, because I remember around that time he was everywhere. He was. I think like it was Seth MacFarlane who cast him in Family Guy as the mayor of Quahog, Rhode Island.
Well, if you remember,
and he plays himself. He actually plays himself. He doesn't play a fictional character. He plays Adam West.
Yeah, although I mean, Family Guy, if I remember correctly, Family Guy started in 2000 or so,
1999.
Okay, so, and by the time this was on, I think it had been canceled because people forget.
It had just been canceled, and then it was brought back.
By
Fox
popular
after
demand.
After Adult Swim started playing reruns of it.
People were buying them on DVD. That's kind of like a memory of mine from late 2000.
Yeah. That and like Futurama too. Also,
Christmas 2003, or I think it was 2003.
Mayor West, you have lymphoma.
Oh, my.
Probably from rolling around in that toxic waste.
I see.
What in God's name were you trying to prove?
I was trying to gain superpowers.
Well, that's just silly.
Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
But I believe West also helped produce the movie, and he served as the technical consultant on it as well. Mm-hmm. I saw his name in the credits a couple of times.
I really liked the guy they had playing Robin. I liked him.
He was about perfect.
He was about perfect. He was physically so tiny, and he knew it was like and I looked the guy up. Because I knew the face, and I remember the face. He played the young Munster in the Munsters Today. Eddie Munster. He played because they did the Munsters Today. There was a revival of the Munsters in the early '90s called Munsters Today, and it was like John Schuck of Star Trek 4 and Star Trek 6, and MASH and a whole bunch of other stuff. He played Herman Munster, and basically the plot was. Grandpa's experiment went awry, and they were like frozen in these suspended animation things, and then they woke up in the 90s.
So he was in that. Oh, so okay. So what they're doing there is kind of like that Brady Bunch gag from the Brady Bunch movie, where they're kind of like living in their own little bubble, but it's contemporary times.
Well, if you remember, the Munsters were already living in their own bubble anyway, and they didn't understand what was going on.
True.
I looked the guy up, and he actually had all that training that Burt Ward actually had, like the acrobatic training. That's how he was able to do all those acrobatic things when they had the audition. And then the guy they had playing Adam West, I thought he got sort of the voice and the voice and the cadence close enough. But I thought that his physical form, he was in a little bit too good a shape and a little too muscly to be playing. He could have played Lyle Wagner.
Yeah, it was.
Lyle Wagner comes in at some point.
Lyle Wagner is involved. Yes, we'll get to that though. But I do have in here that the actor playing Adam in the flashbacks, he does a good job, but he's no Adam West. He doesn't have that je ne sais quoi that creates an Adam West. It's kind of like William Shatner too. Adam West and William Shatner are very similar. You got to
understand, Adam West at this point, and even at this point in this movie, he's doing the Adam West character, and he gets into it. He gets into why he does it this way, because they talk about talking each other over, like, you're talking too slowly to make sure that I can't speak.
Screen time.
And he explained in the. He was explaining to him why he does it that way. He saw the irony in the series immediately, and that's why he chose to do it. He looked at the script and this is hilarious. At least this is the way he explained why he did it.
In this movie, the whole thing about the movie is it's all incredibly meta, if you like to use that word.
Yeah, before it was really a thing. When you think
it was sort of the whole plot is built around I guess Burt and Adam are invited, quote unquote, to some kind of charity function involving the Batmobile. But somebody steals the Batmobile and is presumably to lead them on a chase to find it. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was very suspicious at the beginning. But they so Adam and Burt hop into Adam's car, which has a license plate that reads Kapow, which is cute.
I also noticed that.
And Adam says, "This is a job for actors."
Yeah.
I thought that should be the title of our episode.
An elephant. I always do this.
What's that supposed to mean? What does an elephant always do? Anyone? We'll have to solve the puzzle on the way. Come on, Burt.
Adam, you're crazy.
Thanks. Sorry.
We'll take my car. It's already been established.
Hey, if you're looking for the Batmobile, it went that way.
You have a sharp eye, my friend. Did the driver say anything?
He has directions. Highway to Arizona.
Arizona? That could take till dawn.
Those orphans are counting on us, Burt. You want to be the one to look in their sad little eyes tomorrow and tell them there's no Batmobile?
You're right. Let's go.
Tip the man, will you? Thanks, chum.
This is a job for a couple of washed-up actors.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, what I noticed that when the car speeds away, it's done so cheaply. It's like you see, you don't even see the car leaving, but you hear it like tip over or something, and then you see like it's almost like the Back to the Future sort of flame trail stripe things, but it looks like it looks like it was like it did it like a not a cartwheel, but like a tip, like it tipped over and then went around.
Right.
But they couldn't afford to do the stunts, so they just sort of
showed
the after effects of it.
The whole thing is very low budget. It's a very low budget affair.
Yeah.
I think money was spent on the sets of
money was spent on getting
the Batcave.
I think money was spent on getting all these old people together because they probably don't work cheap.
Now, first off, let's talk. Can we talk a little bit about why time was so cruel to Burt Ward? He became very rotund. He became very robust.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the fact he was so young when he started. Like he was probably, they kind of get into it in sort of the backstory of he wasn't like 15 or 16. So he kind of like looked the part, especially because he wore the mask and and everything. But he's young, he's in shape, he's acrobatic, he's doing stuff. So that's what we remember him as. So then when we see him as just some sort of tubby, oldish guy, I'm gonna guess in his late 50s by now in this, it's this weird shock. Whereas Adam West, he was already a guy like in his 30s, probably late 30s. He was a handsome man, but he aged gracefully.
Devastatingly handsome. I looked up I was trying to look for photos for the episode and everything, and I was coming across some shots of Adam West, just chilling, hanging out back in those days. Really good looking guy. I mean, seriously good looking.
Yeah, Lyle Wagner probably better looking though. I'm gonna in a conventional Batman sense, I would have picked Lyle Wagner.
Oh, and the reason we keep mentioning Lyle Wagner is because he read for the part of Batman, did a couple of screen tests, and they actually included
the old
screen tests.
Yeah. And he was good.
He's okay. He's not, but again, this is kind of like when you see Chris Pine playing Captain Kirk. It just doesn't seem right. Now, the whole movie is built around a series of flashbacks. And it's like, it reminds me of a sketch on Saturday Night Live a long time ago, back in the late 80s, something like that, with Justine Bateman, where they did a parody of Family Ties, and it was all just flashback leading into flashback. This reminds me of the time you flashback. I
remember, and Dana Carvey played Alex Keaton.
he keeps going up to people and putting his arm around them. He says, "Listen, you got to do this.
Then,
you got to walk in."
I forgot her name.
Victoria Jackson.
Victoria Jackson playing
Teeny Others, going.
And all she just does is she goes, "Yeah." I remember that.
So they get into this adventure because, frankly, they don't really have anything else to do. So they get into this adventure trying to track down the Batmobile, and every time they hit a stumbling block or some kind of a similar, it's kind of like
a clue. It's like the
Rashomon or something.
Like the Riddler leaves him a clue or something. Or
don't spoil it yet. Not until we get to the end.
Well, but they get left.
You spoiled it. That's it.
They get left a clue. Like the Riddler would leave a clue. Like
they're getting a serious clue. They keep getting serious clues.
You have to remember, like, what does an elephant always do? An elephant never forgets.
Always
remember the past, or something like that.
Lest we are doomed to repeat it, old chum. So it's like every time they get into a situation, it kind of like maybe mirrors something in the past. Adam or Burt will say, "Hey, remember the time that you," and then all this and that. You were cast, so we go into like Burt's backstory. He I guess had no experience whatsoever. He decided to get into acting almost as a lark because he needed money because he just got married. His wife is played by Amy Acker, who was Fred on Angel. I remember her specifically. She's a very, very beautiful woman, actually. And she actually dumps him for some reason. Like he had to kiss a girl on Batman, which is
he had to kiss a girl, and then she's like, she doesn't seem to understand that he's an actor and he's doing a thing, and
she doesn't get the whole
he's
fiction
being a good
thing.
husband.
You have no reason to be jealous.
Married people don't kiss other people.
I'm only acting.
I don't care. I don't want you to do it.
I am holding up production.
Anyone see Burt?
It has nothing to do with us. It's my work. Why can't you see that?
I hear the stories about Adam and all those women. The fans, the co-stars.
Adam's Adam. He's single. He's not me. You have no reason to be jealous. How many times do I have to tell you that?
And how long before that changes? Do what you want.
He's not doing an Adam West thing where he's just, chasing tail. Although at this point, Adam West is divorced.
So what happens then is he does the Bat-2 with Julie Newmar, and I know damn well it's Julie Newmar, and everyone else does too.
It is.
Now, we let me see, where am I in my notes? Oh, okay. So Burt, because he's completely unknown, he only gets $350 a week, which is still good money in 1967, 68.
Yeah, that'd probably be like a couple of grand today or something.
Well, yeah, it's
a couple of grand a week.
But what that is, okay, he was getting less, because I know this for a fact from my wife, because she does the Monkees write-ups. The Monkees got paid more than she did, and they were complete unknowns as well. They got $450 a week, which is still really not that much money when you consider it, because from what I understand, like William Shatner received I think a $10,000 weekly salary for being on Star Trek. Nimoy got several thousand. DeForest Kelley got several thousand. All the lesser known people got around that kind of Burt Ward pay. So they weren't really like they weren't paying these people much money back then comparatively to how they pay them now.
My name's David.
What does David mean?
David means business, baby.
Yeah, but he was getting laid left and right after he got divorced and the wife left him. He was, I mean, how much?
That's
I mean,
true.
you're,
Well,
you're
yeah,
basically getting paid to get laid left and right. And of course, he's meeting crazy women every once in a while. But, you know, you're basically getting paid to be, and this is a great thing. I mean, if he could have parlayed it into something, this is like you're getting paid to basically hang out. I mean, try having a real job. Those suck.
And to my knowledge, a lot of these anecdotes are based on his own remembrances, and they appeared in his memoir. He had a memoir about being Robin. Mm-hmm. So he wrote a lot of this stuff into his book. Meanwhile, there's a strange narrator that only Adam hears for a little while. Like Adam starts hearing the voice of a narrator.
And I'm going to say you do find out who the narrator is at the end, but I could tell who it was almost. I think I know who that is, and then they reveal him at the end.
I wasn't thinking that at all. I was thinking it was the actual narrator from the show. But I had that wrong because that was William Dozier, who was also the creator and producer of the show. He was the guy who would say, "Is it curtains for the dynamic duo?" You know, things like that.
That's a cheap way to do it. You don't have to pay an announcer.
But I do want to interrupt to say that this is the Batman that I really remembered. I think the first time I saw Batman, I had seen that movie that they made, the theatrical movie, not the TV show.
All I remember of that movie is sort of the repeating gif that people use of him running around with the bomb. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like it's just him running with. That's all I remember from that.
It was okay. We had the TV show for some reason. This is really strange because you didn't see this back then. The TV show had already been out for a couple of months or maybe a year. I think maybe it was a year. It was between the first and second season.
Yeah, what they said was, I think that because they said it ran for 3 seasons, I think that its first season was like one of those mid-season replacement kind of shows. So I think it started kind of late. They're like, hey, this thing's catching on. We'll slap together a movie while
they actually made a movie, released it theatrically.
Got that thing out, and so
for some reason Julie Newmar wasn't involved, so they got Lee Merriweather to play. And you know what? This is a tough one for me because I really love Lee Merriweather. I mean, I like Julie Newmar a lot. She's more the iconic version of Catwoman, but Lee Merriweather's freaking hot, and she is just wonderful in the movie.
Why you sniveling sardine? Are you pompous, puffed up penguin? Our friends make peace. Have a shake on me. Ooh, a joke a day keeps the gloom away.
It really is our movie. The one we made after the first season wrapped.
2 days after the first season. Someone's forcing us to relive our past. But to what dark end?
Oh, I really couldn't say, sir.
Popcorn? Real butter?
What do you say?
Real butter?
Uh-huh.
Time is getting short. We've got to get Batman before he gets us.
How?
I say it's crazy. But I say let's try it. We have to do something to get Batman out of the way.
Must you be so impulsive?
The dynamic duo has been silenced forever.
Farewell, dynamic duo!
You notice anything strange about this picture, Burt? Does it seem abridged?
Holy Screen Actors Guild. Our credits are missing.
Not only that, it's just the villains. We're not in it.
Maybe it's the director's cut.
There were apparently rights issues with the TV show, but not the feature film. So that's why they used only the movie for footage.
Ah, okay.
So it's a little confusing to the viewer because the viewer is usually going to associate Catwoman with Julie Newmar. Lee Merriweather, as wonderful as she was, I don't know that she was even in the running at the time for the TV show. But she does a really fine job in the movie.
Now, you said that your first exposure to this was the movie, like it was on TV.
It was the movie because they didn't show, at the time I had cable, they didn't show the TV show yet. That movie played constantly, though, on cable. I might even do a write-up for Vintage Cable Box at some point.
My first exposure was on TV in the reruns because, and it kind of, this is more of a local thing, but we got a really solid, awesome independent station in late 1980. Locally, it was called KCPQ. It's now a Fox station. They were like because because before that, all we had was like one independent station, Channel 11. And they would show like Star Trek. So they would show everything that you would see on an independent station.
Right.
But then we get this new independent station, and they're showing like unedited movies. They're showing the proper cuts of Planet of the Apes. They're showing like great movies, great reruns, and then they're showing Batman reruns that I had never seen.
So we, I'm watching the movie, and I don't know if it's meant to be sloppy or if it just wasn't directed well. The shots are very lazy. The whole thing looks like it was shot in the studio. I saw boom mics in the shot sometimes.
Maybe that was the intention.
Yeah, that's what I was
meant
thinking.
to sort of eschew the spirit of the old show, because like they literally will go into scenes and they've got like the Dutch angles when they're walking in. They're trying to create a mood, I think.
Yes,
and I think it's like, hey, and we can be lazy because it won't matter.
There is kind of it has the spirit. It has the spirit of the Batman TV show. There's an aura of cheapness about the whole thing. For me, the movie comes alive when they go back. They flash back to shooting of the show and all these little weird things that happen, like how they did certain things. I like that too, like how they did the window gag. They would do, where the celebrity would pop the head out.
Betty White shows up. I wonder, was she actually on the original show? Was she like the cranky old lady in one of the...
I don't even... They had like big stars. They would have like a big star pop his head out, like a George Burns would pop his head out, or I don't know, who's another...
Oh, well, when they had Vincent Price as the Egghead guy.
Egghead starting a food fight?
Yeah, and
he instigates a food fight?
I was taking a little bit out of it because if you remember the Egghead costume, it wasn't just Vincent Price with a bald cap on.
Yeah,
he had like a weird egg-shaped head. It was a whole prosthetic head. He just but with this guy, they just sort of put a thing. Although I will say that all the actors that they had play when they had the Cesar Romero guy come in, he looked, once he got the makeup on and he bitched about putting the makeup over his mustache that he seems to need.
Yeah.
Once he had the makeup on,
that was Cesar Romero is big. He was known for having that mustache when he was in movies. He got the laugh right. He got the look right. Yeah.
So it's like just about every actor they had come in to play the part they got right, except again, the Adam West. He got the essence of Adam West, but like you can't really. But physically, he was almost in too good a shape. He was a little too muscly.
Well, he was a little too contemporarily in good shape.
Yeah.
As opposed to like most men back in those days didn't do things like...
They didn't work out. They would just go and do like yard work.
Unless they were like Mr. Universe or something like that, you really didn't see like abs. You didn't see like visible abs. I mean, we've seen doing the Star Trek show, we've seen Kirk with his shirt off a million times. He's in great shape, but he doesn't have visible abs.
Michael Landon as Paw,
For some reason, they want you to work your abs these days, and I don't know why. We get a lot of like anecdotes, like little possibly true stories, not legends, maybe. Like, for instance, the Catholic Legion of Decency doesn't like Burt Ward's penis.
Yeah. This was something that surprised me when...
This sounds like a guy telling tales out of school.
Now, this is a TV movie from 2003.
Yeah.
They're zooming in on his package.
Yeah, on his package. And it is a package.
I'm like, this is a TV movie. I didn't know you could zoom in on a package like that.
It's like, we got a problem with your penis. Yeah. He was like, what? I don't got a problem with it, as you can see. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
The trunks fit like they're supposed to. Superheroes wear tight clothes. Cuts wind resistance.
Tell that to the Catholic Legion of Decency.
But they don't like how I fit my trunks?
Is that all you? At ease?
We've tried just about everything. Every kind of restraint we can think of. We've tucked and pulled and... well, we're out of ideas.
I can't help how I'm built.
True. But if the costume can't hide it, we'll have to look at other solutions.
Like?
And he's lucky to have that. I wonder because he did have a decent sized package. I'm wondering, did they embellish this actor's package to make it look like he had a package?
I couldn't really. Maybe it's just he had so much he had to wear
I mean, the way that they showed it, it was literally like on its side. It was like sticking out and then like hanging like a hat, like
hangs
literally
to the left.
Like what do they call it? Like a banana hammock? It was just it was just right there. I'm like,
he's wearing the
Joe
Namath netted slingshot.
It's like
booth.
half his size because he's a small guy.
He is a small guy.
He's a tripod.
He is a tripod. Yeah. So they give him these, I guess, drugs or something to chemically castrate him.
He doesn't even know what's in him either. He doesn't even know what's in him.
There's no side. Yeah, they don't know anything about side effects. Do not take this if you have a heart condition. I don't know. In addition to this, you have a little episode where Burt apparently beds down a lady who tries to kill him, and then acts like it was all part of a performance, which is very strange. It's a very strange little non sequitur moment. It doesn't make any sense.
I thought that it was like the way they showed it is she seemed to go crazy. I think it almost had to be like her goofing on him only because they both work on the same TV show.
Mm-hmm.
He has to leave early to go to that TV show.
Right.
That means she has to go to that TV show too.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, we're going to meet each other there in a few hours. I don't see why she would flip out.
Right.
So it's almost like she would. Then again, I'm not one to understand crazy because crazy does what crazy does. So people have their own reasons for doing things. And also, this is his recollection.
What I wanted to mention was Yvonne Craig. Now, she is the only presence not in this movie. They get an actress who kind of looks like her, has a ballpark resemblance.
By the way, the woman they have playing her, hot, athletic.
Yes.
I'm like, that's my kind. Now, I'm usually more towards like the curvy, dare I say, somewhat chunky.
I always thought Yvonne Craig was crazy hot.
I can also really get into like the sort of the thin athletic types. It's like, I guess I have the two extremes.
Also,
like
this girl does look a lot like Yvonne Craig, and yes, but she's also a little taller. I can tell.
Yeah,
Yvonne's
Yvonne Craig was kind of shorter, yeah.
And she was
that gets us
very lovely. And also, I was thinking about this because I picked up these dolls for Regan. I don't know if you saw the Facebook entry that I had.
I think I did.
It's a 3-pack. It's a 3-doll set. It comes. It's Batgirl, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman. I always wondered why there wasn't a Wonder Girl because these are girls, right? But I did manage to snag the Wonder Woman. Well, Bronwyn did at the supermarket. She found it. She grabbed it. So she now has all 3. And these dolls are so awesome. I know. I'm a guy who plays with dolls. But I always thought that Batgirl's costume was so cool. It looks so much better than Adam West's Batman costume.
Right. It was like tight. It was sparkly.
It was tight, sparkly, made of a material that was really, and it was very flattering on her too.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautifully put together. It's so weird because where the hell does she come up with this costume? Meanwhile, Batman is like Bruce Wayne, who's very wealthy. Yeah. He could have any kind of costume he wants. We see Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, all these guys in crazy Batman outfits that look awesome.
Yeah.
And very kind of like stylistically similar. They're very form-fitting. And, there's certain attributes that, Yvonne Craig has that the Batgirl costume really sort of highlights.
Yeah, but that gets us to a moment in the movie where, like, she's like, I know you, I know what your reputation is, so don't. He's
like,
get up
what,
to anything.
Me?
What me? And then as soon as they're doing like it was like creeping along, and then
suddenly
he has to stop, and he just grabs her by the boob.
He stops short. He stopped short. You son of a bitch! You stopped short.
Now, was this used in the show? I can't even remember.
I don't. I would say no. That's inappropriate. That would be inappropriate for 60s television.
Well, it'd be inappropriate for anything, really. But at the same,
there's plenty of boobs being grabbed out there nowadays.
At the same time, this is man. People were getting laid left and right. You could get away, and you could be very, dare I say, like rapey at the time, and it was like almost acceptable. Like, oh, men, and they're grabbing. And
they're like, well, it was wonderful too. It's a nice little standout moment from the show because they're like, Adam, where's your hand? And he says, well, it's on her shoulder.
Yeah,
are you sure it's on her shoulder?
Yeah.
Yes, it's on her shoulder. No, a little lower.
It's there for like 30 seconds as they're doing the scene. His hand is
yeah. But Yvonne Craig being adorable, but she didn't want to have any involvement in this movie. According to the Wikipedia, not the most reliable source, but I guess it's based on some public relations interviews that were done at the time. She said that she got the script and she politely declined. Mm-hmm. So that's why she's not really involved on the show.
Well, also we have to like remember, okay, we're fans of stuff like this. You know, people are like, they have lives, and like, so like priorities.
Wait a minute, what? They do?
And so they're like, priorities. Well, you know, I got something else going on. I didn't really care about it then. I really don't care about it now. I'm like, whatever. You know, so, and I'm that way about a lot of things.
Right.
So I can be like, I could take it or leave it, and I don't have to do this. I don't really care. I maybe she just is like, I mean, Adam West, So yeah,
So we get to the final bit of it, which is the bad guys are revealed, and the bad guys as revealed are Julie Newmar and Frank Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin, yes.
Who was the original Riddler.
And the guy they have playing the young Frank Gorshin, again, they hire these people. I don't know where they got him, but this guy is like the perfect young Frank Gorshin. He looks like him.
Yeah.
He acts like him. I don't know how they do.
Isn't it unusual, though, that you take like a real life person, like a Frank Gorshin or a Julie Newmar, and make them the bad guys of this? They have no problem with this either. They have no problem with the idea that they themselves are bad guys. They stole the Batmobile, and
at the end, doesn't he say like you know, all these years of doing this, what did it get me? And then Adam was, well, you do Vegas, you do this, you do that.
You kind of made your career, Frank. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, exactly.
Julie Newmar too. I mean, Julie Newmar everywhere. These people are iconic.
She's in a movie where she's, you know, it's all about these two like trannies, these three trannies trying to get to talk to her or something, or she's in it or something. I don't know.
Well, they're sending a message. She sends a message to somebody, to Wong Fu, as it were.
Yeah.
And they get Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, and Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
But so they managed to save the day. They this obviously very cheap-looking, enormous thing of TNT blows up or something. Whatever it is, it's not a real explosion. It doesn't look like one anyway.
Well, doesn't he say it's not even hooked up to anything?
Yes,
it's cardboard.
That's cardboard. Yeah. So, they get the Batmobile back to this charity function or something.
Yeah.
And then Adam and Burt hear the narrator again, and they go and they isolate the narrator. And who does the narrator turn out to be?
Lau Wagner.
Lau Wagner. Wonder
Who,
Woman.
by the way, you know, shout out to Chris Cooling on his show talking about, you know, where the actors from Wonder Woman, because he ended up on Wonder Woman. He became the guy that you may have seen these like on production sets. They're called Star Wagons.
That's right. He
started that.
He provides these luxury Winnebagos and trucks and buses to celebrities and movie productions and stuff. Like, I don't know, Will Smith's enormous... Will Smith had like this enormous multi-million-dollar gym built into an enormous bus so that he can take his gym on the road wherever he goes while he's shooting.
So I'm sure that Lau Wagner made way more money doing that than he did doing Wonder Woman, and I think like he was on Carol Burnett's show.
Very forward thinking for an actor.
I mean, basically, you know, he's you know, he's it seemed like he's one of those people that like a professional handsome person. He just sort of shows up. He's sort of the man meat. Probably much like
what
Adam
I love
Westwood.
about Lau Wagner was on Wonder Woman. When they introduced, you know, when they play the theme song Wonder Woman, and then it says also starring Lau Wagner. He's got this look on his face, and he holds his hands out like Henry Winkler, and it's like he's saying, "What the hell am I doing here?" It's like
getting
they
a nice
cast
check
me,
is what you're doing.
They cast me for Wonder Woman, really, Steve Trevor? We get back to that. Adam and Burt save the day. They go back to their respective lives, and you know.
But it's not over. The car gets stolen again, and it's one of those darn orphans.
Yes, the orphan. I forgot the coda involving the Batmobile getting stolen again.
To go into like Little House on the Prairie. Shout out to Walnut Grovecast. You know, it was Albert. It's always Albert. It's always Albert's fault. The orphan. Albert the orphan.
Albert the orphan.
Damn it, Albert! It's always his fault. Something bad always happens.
So there we have it. That's you know, the misadventures of Adam and Burt.
Yeah, I don't know how our discussion made it sound, but it was actually very entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was definitely
and I'd seen this. I actually watched it when it was on, like 2000. I remember recording it on a VHS tape off of TV and watching it and being entertained.
Was this something, like at the time, was it something that was heavily advertised and promoted? Or was
I know that Adam West went on Howard Stern to promote it because I heard him. Yeah, I heard him on the show, and he was trying to promote it, and Howard was doing his Howard shtick and having him do like little bits and like, you know, call up Wendy the retard and, you know, have Eric have high pitch Eric go, hello. And Adam West is like, he's being very serious. He's like, oh, I have this TV movie to promote.
He's like, come on, Adam. Did you bang Julie? Did you bang
he was
Lee?
like doing stuff like that, yeah. And then Fred would be like with his friend, did you do anal?
Howard, a gentleman never tells.
A gentleman never tells.
All right. Well, that seems like a lot of fun. All right. That'll wrap this up, I guess. Two Davids walking to a bar.
Yeah. And we're going to stumble our way out and we're going to open the door and see the sun.
Yeah. I tend to hiss when I see the sun. I go, something like that. All right. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thank you.